Should we taste it? I don't know if you should taste it. It's really, really hot. Mmm. It's delicious. You want a tiny little bit?
Yeah. Mom, try it. Don't!
I'm just making sure it's not hot. How is it?
It's good.
Thank you. I'm Dave. You're watching Dave's Taste Buds, and welcome back. I got a great episode for you today. The simplest apple pie you're ever gonna make without getting that pre-made dough. Don't get the pre-made dough. Don't do it. I'm gonna show you how to make the easiest dough. This is the easiest recipe. This recipe was my mother-in-law. She passed it down to my wife, and now I'm gonna show you how to make it. And you know a recipe's good when it's always kept in like a tin container. So if you get a tin container of recipes, go through them and check them out, because they're probably the best recipes you're gonna find. So we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna show you how to make the dough. We're gonna cut up the tomatoes. We're gonna cut up the apples. We're gonna put it all together, bake it off. So sit tight and let's go. All right, so let's start off with our dough. It's time to prep the dough. Herbal. Love that movie though. So, like I said, not a lot to this dough. We're gonna start off by just putting our flour and our salt in our bowl. And then we're gonna start putting in our Crisco shortening. And then it's really just a matter of starting off with a fork and just getting right in there, just trying to really break down that shortening and get that shortening incorporated into our flour. So once we get our shortening incorporated into our flour mix, you'll see that it'll start to make little clumps, and that's when we're gonna want to start adding our water to that. So just start by taking that fork you were using and just kind of work that water into your dough. Feel free to get right in there with your hands after that, because you're going to want to start kneading this together. So just kind of work everything together. It's going to be very pliable, very easy to use, a lot easier than, mixing a lot of flour, yeast, all that kind of stuff. It's actually a very, very easy dough, and it comes out so light and fluffy and delicious. So once you get most of it all incorporated, you're going to add what's left of your water, and you're just going to continue to knead and just make sure it gets all mixed in and nicely incorporated. And once you get to a point where you're confident that it's fairly incorporated, you're just going to want to try to get it out of that bowl so you can really start to knead it. So let's get that all scraped out of there, get it onto our board. Now you don't have to flour the board because you don't want it to add flour to it and dry it out. So then you're just going to want to just keep working at it. Then all of a sudden you'll have formed this nice shaped ball. And go ahead and wrap that tight in plastic. And if you're going to use it the next day, pop that in the fridge. If you're going to use it right away, let it sit like 10 minutes, something like that. And then it's pretty much good to go after that. All right, so now that our dough is made, we're going to roll it out, get it in our pie plate. I forgot to get this. Make sure your bench, countertop, whatever you're using is nice and clean, because you don't want it to be part of your pie. We're going to dust it with some flour, dough. I'm going to take this dough, obviously, half of the top, half of the bottom, and cut that in half. Set that aside. I'm going to use you later. More flour. Flour is going to be your key with this. Now, because this dough is made of Crisco shortening, you really don't have to put it in the fridge overnight. You don't have to set it aside to let it rise. There's no yeast in it. So you could make this ahead of time and then make the pie the next day. You could do that, or you can make it right away. which is what we're gonna do. And as you can see with my skills in rolling out dough, this is why I don't do a lot of baking. Now for the bottom, you're just gonna need it to cover the bottom of your pan. So once you get it looking like this, keep that pan clean. I'm just gonna lay it right inside. There we go. Move it around. If you got a bunch left, you can always trim some of that off, but you are going to need to leave some because you're going to be crimping this with the top. So there we go. Just take some of this craziness off there. All right. Let's move on and get our apples inside. Before we do that, do me a big favor. Please hit that subscribe button, that like button, comment if you want. Appreciate it. All right, let's get our apples. All right, so now that we have our dough rolled out in our pie plate, we have our apples cut. It takes a while to do this. Do yourself a favor, get yourself one of those cores because you're gonna wanna get this done relatively quick because I literally just finished cutting these and they're already starting to turn brown. So you don't want your apples to turn too brown before you're able to use them. Another little hint that you could do, if you're cutting them up, you can drop them into some water with a little bit of lemon juice. That will keep them from turning brown until you need them. So anyway.
Knowing is half the battle.
Now that our apples are cut, I told you this was gonna be easy. This is 3/4 cup of sugar. And this is 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now, I mean, obviously you could add nutmeg, you could add a little bit more, you could use a little brown sugar if you wanted to, but I just wanted to stay true, whoops, get in there. I wanted to stay true to the original recipe that I have. So this is just cinnamon and sugar. That's literally it. You're just gonna wanna coat your apples and then it's no more complicated than now getting these apples into our pie plate. Now we're also gonna see how tall of a pie we're gonna get. And don't forget, I mean, these things are obviously going to break down and shrink while it bakes. All right, you let me know when we're there because it's getting pretty tall. We got some apples left over with cinnamon and sugar. That looks like a delicious little snack. No, seriously, this thing's getting out of hand.
I think it's good.
We good?
Yeah, just make sure you get all the sugar and cinnamon.
Yeah.
I think that's it does.
Oh yeah, there's very little left in the bowl. There we go. Pats of butter. We're just gonna dress it, I guess you could say, with some butter. This is gonna melt down as soon as it warms up. It's gonna melt down into the pie. It's gonna mix all down in there. Oh yeah. I think it's like 3/4 of a stick. 6 tablespoons, I guess that would be. Now I know the next step is dealing with flour, and I know I don't want my hands to be wet at all. Get our flour on our rolling pin. It's the second half of our dough. Get that floured up. Get it rolled out. Good?
That's good.
Oh yeah. There we go. Just throw it in like that? No. Let's trim off some of the, what do I do with my knife? Just trim a little bit of this craziness off. And I should have asked you this way ahead of time, but You just crimp it, use a fork, anything like that?
Just use my hands.
Nice. Kind of pinch it.
Kind of roll it and pinch it.
Roll it and pinch it. Looking rustic. And this crust comes out so flaky. Does this look ridiculous? This looks like a lot of crust. But people love the crust, so I don't want to take too much off. All right. Did we remember everything? It seems so simple.
Yeah.
All right. If you've never made an apple pie before, I would start with this because it is simple. What do we think?
Looks good.
Oh, that is a rustic, non-store-bought looking pie, I'll tell you that.
You gotta cut some slits in the top too.
Yeah. You're gonna need to let some steam out. So I'm just gonna put, what do you usually do, 3?
Yeah.
Let's do something like that. Nice. This is milk, straight milk. We're just gonna brush it on top, give it some color. We got our oven preset at 350. If I didn't say that at the beginning.
So some people use
350.
Use an egg wash,
Yeah.
but my mother always used milk.
All right. You heard her. Egg wash is something you could do, but this was always done with milk, so that's how we're doing it. See how it comes out. I already know. I've eaten this pie 1,000 times. Good?
Yeah, get the crust pretty good.
Okay. Don't want to burn our crust. There we go. That's it. Ready for the oven. How long does this take? I got this as an answer.
At least an hour. At least.
All right, at least an hour. So,
Once it's bubbling and it's golden brown,
Who said that?
all right.
put a cookie sheet underneath it in case it bubbles over.
In case you're not picking this up, I'll just walk through it again. In case it bubbles over, put it on something. Oven's at 350. We're gonna put this in for an hour and we're gonna check it. I'll check it way before that just to make sure. You just want it to turn a golden brown. You'll notice that it's shrunk down a lot. You could probably put a knife through there and test the apples. You'll know. You'll know. All right, it's going in the oven. So sit tight. We're gonna be right back with this delicious pie. Okay, so that took a little bit longer than I thought. It's probably been in there about an hour and a half. I checked it an hour through, raised the temperature a little bit. Either way, it's looking good. Gonna grab it from the oven. Oh, that is a nice looking heavy pie. All right, so the pie's looking really good. I'm gonna let it sit here and cool down for like 5-10 minutes, then I'm gonna cut into it.
5 minutes later.
All right, so we've given it 10-15 minutes to cool down and it is looking perfect. And I got my sidekick Rosie here. She's gonna help me taste it. You ready?
Ready.
All right, let's cut it with the knife first.
Yeah.
Whoa, how's that look? Rosie, can you see the steam coming out of it? It's hot.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, oh, it's hard to keep all in one piece.
What's that?
It's apples.
Oh.
You like apples?
I just.
Oh, well, now you licked the thing.
Sorry, kidding.
We're just bringing it to Auntie Lauren's anyway, so
Oh, yes, you're right.
she won't care.
I don't care. That's all right.
Let's see what it looks like. Oh, you know how that first piece always looks, right? Little coming apart on us. Lost kind of its, lost its height.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yuck, that doesn't help. That doesn't help me. Ooh, it's hot. All right. Look at that, it's really hot, right? We could have let it cool even longer.
I blow it.
You gonna blow on it?
Yeah, I'm just blowing on it.
Should we taste it? I don't know if you should taste it. It's really, really hot. But the dough is, see how the dough's nice and flaky?
Yeah. No, you can't see me.
Let's taste it. Mmm. It's delicious. You want a tiny little bit?
Yeah, Mom, try it. Don't!
I'm just making sure it's not hot. How is it?
It's good.
Thank you. All right. And I forgot to mention this whole time, those are Macintosh apples. So this is a passed down family recipe. It's super easy to do. It doesn't take that long. Anybody can do it. So thanks for watching. I got videos up here. I got a video down here. Check them out. Like, subscribe, and after you're done doing all that, go cook something. Rosie, tell the camera, go cook something.
Cook something.
All right. We'll see you later.
Later.